Ben was a mentor. I mean, of the 3 or 4 really important people in my life, there is no one that exceeds Ben Strauss' influence. I mean, he saved me. I just started to say, I knew nothing about anything about business. And I came with this company. I told Evelyn I was going to go to Dayton, that we were going to take a quick trip because Ben and I needed to go to California. And I was gone 30 days. I was just disappeared. And Ben and I went all across this country doing the one show, because the time would come up and we had to do this show in Texas, we had to do this show over here, and the one in Wisconsin. We had to go see Buddy at Las Vegas. We had to go to New York and then back to California for a meeting with the new people. And it was just outrageous. Well, all that time, Ben was by my side, and he just filled me with anecdotes and facts and things he knew and people that did this and the situation here and why that and why not who, and unbelievable. I was 24/7. So within a year, I had maybe some information. And at the end of the year, it came that we did $1.8 million in business, and we lost $800,000. I don't know what that means to you as a drummer, but that's disaster. That was my first year's experience with business.
So that was the first year that the CBS also owned the company.
First full 12 months.
Was that typical of what Rogers had been doing before that?
I have no idea, because it was Grossman. And Grossman ran his company as a single person. He didn't have all the documentation that everybody else would have. He was a profitable, successful talker. And I never heard of or saw any books. But that first year...
He was Julia's uncle.
Yeah, Julia's uncle.
Julia Strauss' uncle
was
Ben Strauss.
But it was such a shock to me that we could exist at all. I mean, it was over with for me. It's like, okay, they're going to shut this down. And the truth was that we went through Don Randall as president, which within the first several months resigned. We got a guy named John Lennon. John Lennon. Something Lennon. He was are you sure you want to record all that? I mean, this is stuff you're not going to print. He was an accountant, and he took over as president. And he had severe personal problems. His wife was extremely ill and dying, and he was an extreme, had an extreme management style. Extreme being completely untrusting, and just a killer kind of manager. So he became president. He came to Dayton, where I had moved my office from the Covington plant to the Dayton 1005 2nd Street. And in that place up there, they were overlooking the warehouse area, and there wasn't any really office space. There was just a couple of rooms up front. I had walked across a little plank, which I could have fallen down to the floor 20 feet up. It was kind of a loft, and I had the desk back in there. Had to kind of duck down to get there. So Lennon, the new president, comes to Dayton to see what's the matter with Rogers. Having gotten the information that I just gave you,
right.
This is impossible. Turns out that we were ordering, Ben Strauss would do sales on things. He went down to the warehouse and he says, let's put this set together and sell it for this much. Let's put this set together and sell this much. Get rid of stuff. And as soon as he got rid of a whole bunch of sets, purchasing department thought they were sales and said, we better order a bunch more of this stuff. So he ordered 7,000 wooden drum shells. Snare drums. Just snare drums, 5-inch, 7,000. Now we were selling brass.
Right, metal snare drum.
So this was the kind of thing Ben was dealing with every day downstairs. Couldn't make them understand, here's how we're going to handle this stuff. It was just so bad.
Right.
So Lennon came in and said, we got these 7,000 wooden snare drum shells, just shells. We paid $1.78 a piece for them or something, And he said, we got to do something with it. What would you suggest that we do? And he had ducked his head and came in my office and standing in front of my desk, and this is the president. And he said, what should we do with them? I said, we should saw them up and burn them. And he said, that's the most discouraging thing I've heard since I've been the president here. Turned around and walked out. So he put an order out and said, we will make flower boxes and sell them to Kmart. And we will do this and we will do that. And when we moved to California, we moved to 7,000 shells.
Right.
And they sat there for 4 or 5 years, and they burned.
And finally took your advice after.
But it cost us $80,000 by then. All the things that we did, time spent, wrong decisions made to do that.
To move them into Star.
Oh my God.
Exciting stuff. For me, this was all unbelievable. I mean, what I learned from Ben, what made sense to me, what was logical to me, it didn't always fit. I was never a real member of the team. I was not a corporate team player.
Right. You're a drummer.
I was an
educator.
I was something else.
Right.
But they wouldn't fire me. Twice I went into Lennon's office and said, you're accusing me of doing something funny over at R&D with McFadden, who's you don't like so well or something. And it's not true. And you need to tell me what's going on here. Because it's not a place for me. This is not okay by me. I can't be political. You got to tell me. He says, well, you know what it is. I said, no, I don't know what it is, and you have to tell me. I have to tell you. I said, yes, you have to tell me. And he got him walked out of the office. Because I expected, I told him, I'm going to go and get fired today. And then several months later, at the end of his tenure, he was just really desperate about it. And he got fired the same day that I went in and said,
When McFadden took his job.
Bill Lennon.
Bill Lennon. Oh,
It was Bill
God,
Lennon.
yes. Oh, what a world.
Well, all that time, the storage place was full of beech wood, guitar wood, where they had grown the wood in Europe, put dye in the roots.
Oh, the Wildwood. Yeah.
The Wildwood was all sitting in the warehouse too. So Lennon inherited $5 million worth of bad inventory.
That was the Wildwood set that I had a chance to buy in Phoenix. They were oranges set that
Yes.
got. Yeah, I just saw one.
He said, you got to make drums out of this stuff. This would be good. I said, are you sure about that?
Oh, so he had all the Wildwood wood that was just sitting there doing
Just
nothing.
sit here, put them on drums.
He wanted you to put them on the drums.
There's a lot of non-musical, non-important stuff going on.
Because people talk about that Wildwood stuff all the time because there were so few of them made and it's so rare. So, it's like one of the holy grails of Roger's
I would
collection.
say for the historians, if you can just get
Wildwood
something
drum.
made for a while and stop it, in spite of the fact that nobody was willing to pay anything for it,
Right.
it was absolutely a bust.
Uh-huh.
People didn't know about it. They didn't know what it meant. They weren't sure that it really was acceptable to have a drum set with
Natural wood.
the colors
Uh-huh.
involved. We weren't there yet.
Right. Because everything was...
Psychedelic was not completely, I don't know, whatever it was.
Everything was sparkle and, the wrap finishes back then, too.
Well, the other thing was that we had a huge fire at the Dayton plant, at the Covington plant, and the reason was a heater got warm in the room where the nitrate was, which was all the sparkles and stuff, and it exploded and burned the place down.
So that was after you were at the company?
I was there, yeah, I was right there.
The big Covington fire. I heard.
Yeah, I was down there when it was smoking and burning. I just lived, 2 miles from the plant in Covington. We had a house in Covington.